Shalom, I'm the Messianic Torah dude, and this week we have a double portion, Behar and Bechukotai. And in this week's double portion, we see the introduction of a holiday that's celebrated every 50 years. And that holiday is called the Year of Jubilee. I said the Year of Jubilee.
Dude, you realize that's pretty obscure. I don't think enough people have read enough Marvel comics to know who Jubilee is.
Yeah, but you look so cute in the costume. Behar and Bechukotai. On the mount and in my statutes. Come to us from Leviticus chapter 25, verse 1 through 27, verse 34. This week's Torah portion, or double portion, deals with the Year of Jubilee. The Year of Jubilee is kind of laid out here in Leviticus chapter 25, verses 10 through 12. And you shall consecrate the 50th year and proclaim liberty throughout the land to all its inhabitants. It shall be a jubilee for you, when each of you shall return to his property, and each of you shall return to his clan. That 50th year shall be a jubilee for you. In it you shall neither sow nor reap what grows of itself, nor gather the grapes from your undressed vine. For it is a jubilee. It shall be holy to you. You may eat the produce of the field. Essentially what this is saying is a farmer's not supposed to work his land. He's supposed to allow it to lie fallow. This is a farming practice that is still kept in some parts of the world. They refer to it as fallowing. And the idea of letting land rest is very important. In the 1930s, an event known as the Dust Bowl occurred. And one of the major contributing factors to the Dust Bowl was the over-farming of the lands that led to all of the nutrients being absorbed, all of the soil being used up, and essentially there not being anything left. And it was a major disaster that at least had a hand in the Depression. So we can see in this example how overusing a resource can really have a lot of broad-reaching and destructive effects. In fact, I think I should probably give my research staff the week off. Hey guys, take a week off. All right, don't have to tell me twice. Now the shmitah can teach us a lot of very important principles. For example, it teaches us the value of respecting God's plan for things. Returning lands, everybody returning to their land. Don't forget, when they took the land of Israel, they were supposed to divvy it up as the Lord had commanded them. And so returning the land to the people it belonged to was showing respect for the Lord's division of the land. It teaches us how to avoid being greedy. And it teaches us about faith. And it's those last two things I'd like to really talk about. Now, greed, in and of itself, is difficult to talk about because you can't look at somebody and know that they're greedy. Oh, I love money. Oh, money, I love it so much. Oh, I love money so much. Oh, I love it. Ah. Okay, well, sometimes you can. But usually you can only see the fruit of that greed. For example, using resources up. Using a farmer who uses his land up. Somebody who wants to squeeze every penny they can out of their investments or whatever. Those are signs of greed. But we have to remember what it says in Matthew chapter 6, verse 24. And this is the words of Yeshua. No one can serve two masters, for either he will hate one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve Adonai and money. See, greed is a form of idolatry because it's putting your faith in wealth. It's trusting that your wealth will care for you. But it also teaches us about faith. See, taking a year off from farming, that's an act of faith. That's trusting that the Lord will provide for you, even though you're not providing for yourself. But the Lord gives encouragement for people regarding the shmitah. He says in Leviticus chapter 25, verse 20 through 22, "And if you say, 'What shall we eat in the 7th year, if we may not sow or gather our crop?' I will command my blessing on you in the 6th year, so that it will produce a crop sufficient for 3 years. When you sow in the 8th year, you will be eating some of the old crop. You shall eat the old until the 9th year, when its crop arrives." The Lord is telling us that even though it doesn't make sense to take this time off, we can trust that He's going to care for us. We can trust that He's going to provide for us. In Psalm chapter 20, verse 7 through 8, it says, "Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we who trust in the name of the Lord our God, they collapse and fall, but we stand upright." See, when people put their faith in things apart from the Lord, things other than the Lord, their faith will fail because their faith is not put in something solid. But when we trust in the Lord, our faith will not be returned empty. One thing we can remember when we're talking about faith is this. 2 Kings chapter 6, verses 15 through 17. "When the servant of the man of God arose early in the morning and went out, behold, an army with horses and chariots was all around the city. And the servant said, 'Alas, my master, what shall we do?' He said, 'Do not be afraid, for those who are with us are more than those who are with them.' Then Elisha opened the eyes of the young man, and he saw, and behold, the mountain was full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha." See, an army had come to kill the prophet. But the prophet knew that he had the Lord at his back. He knew that it was better to trust in the Lord than to trust in any army. And that's what we need to learn. We need to learn that it's okay to take the Shabbat. It's okay to take time off work for devotion to the Lord. It's okay to say, "I don't know how my bills are going to be paid this month, but I trust you, Lord. I trust that you will provide for me. I trust that if I seek first your kingdom and your righteousness, all these things will be added to me." See, Elisha knew something. When the Lord is on your side, the army in front of you will always be dwarfed by the army behind you. When we act in faith, we give the Lord room to work in our lives. So what are some ways that you've shown faith in the Lord and it's been rewarded? Let me know in the comments. And if we gave you a laugh, give us a like. And if you learned something, give us a share. I'm the Messianic Torah dude. Shalom, and stay in the Word.